Hello again, and thank you for coming to my channel. My name is Ime Essen, and my channel is about sharing, inspiring those on a journey to self-development from a place of loss, finding yourself, growing, and also helping people that want to go into the real estate industry, which I started barely 3 years ago after the loss of my spouse. So I'm hoping that I can bring a perspective that is fresh from the beginning stages and we kind of walk together. Today I want to talk about grief. I want to talk about grief, but I'm also hoping that it's a point to discuss any emotion that causes you great unrest. I came from the grieving process. I went through, and I'm still going through, all the stages that grief and causes. The emotions in that include anxiety, include unrest, fear, vulnerability. But if you're not dealing with grief, you definitely are dealing with some emotion. If you're dealing with some emotion that causes your equilibrium to be a little bit off center, I'm hoping that the few things I discuss here will help. Okay. One thing that I advise when you're going through an unstable emotional space is to unpack the reason why. For me, it was easier because I'm definitely dealing with the loss of a spouse. I recognize the pain. I recognize why I'm feeling this much pain, why I'm feeling this much distress. So I didn't have to unpack so much on the reason why. If it's not as clear to you, you might have to go to therapy to try and get an understanding of why you feel the way you feel. And I'll tell you why that's important. When you unpack and know the source of things, what it does is that it takes you out of the equation and it makes you kinder to yourself, because you now recognize that it's not your fault and it's expected just by the way the body responds that you're going to feel these things. That way, you stop blaming yourself, and it takes away the guilt, and it takes away, hopefully, a deep sense of guilt and shame, because you are supposed to feel this. So, for example, taking grief out of the equation, or let me talk about grief. So I'm feeling this pain, I'm feeling like I don't want to get up from bed. It's normal. So if I say it's normal, I'm not sitting in it, but I'm not telling myself, why the heck am I feeling this? Because I'm supposed to feel it as a human being. The same thing, like if let's say you are dealing with drugs, you're dealing with some kind of proclivity that has caused you pain, some vice, and then you can look back and say, okay, it came from trauma from your childhood. You now understand, okay, you're supposed to respond to that as a child that was maybe abused in some way, didn't have the comfort and the norm of a good family. If you're feeling rejection, for example, and then you can see that you're rejected because a friend, a loved one said this or said that, that's normal to feel that. So because you're a human being and you have human responses, if you understand that you're not so hard on yourself, because sometimes some of the things I've noticed that people are most hard on themselves when they expect something from their system that their system is not equipped to give them. Your system is expected to go through shock when you go through a shocking situation. Your system is expected to be sad when you go through a sad situation. So if you're going through a sad situation, you're trying to be happy, you're not being fair to yourself. So that's why it takes you out of the equation, so you can now start working on getting to your healthier you. Another thing that helped me was to be intentional about where I wanted to end up at. When I lost my spouse and was in the deep throes of pain, some people suggested I go on Facebook groups, grieving groups, to get some help, and I did do that. So I remember one particular, I was on this group and the lady was expressing all her pain and all her grief, and it was so intense. And I thought, listening to her, that this was something that maybe she was dealing with. Her husband had just passed, or her loved one had just passed. And she ended up saying no. She ended up revealing that this is a 5 year. She's at the 5 years, she's been dealing with this for 5 years. And I said, oh my Lord, no, I don't want to feel this amount of grief and pain in 5 years. I literally will not be able to deal with it. It would probably kill me. So I was intentional about walking through this valley. So why I'm saying that is, so if you're going through something, it helps to be intentional. It's almost like, how they tell you write out your goals. It's the same thing. Your goal, you want to be healthy. I want to feel joy. I want to feel peace. I want to walk through this. Those are intentional. Those are decisions you make intentionally that can set your mind and set, your thoughts towards that new place you're going. That's really what writing things down and being precise and intentional means. It just makes you now realize, okay, if I'm intentional about going left, anything that wants to take me right will not be allowed in my space. That's why you write things down, right? It gives you focus. So be intentional about the fact that you want help. Be intentional about that. Be real and authentic. I wanted to be very sure that in my journey, I did not try to present myself stronger than I was. I didn't owe anybody the gift of strength. It was not my place to do that. So if you asked me in those days, and if you ask me sometimes now, if I have a bad trigger moment, I'll tell you how I feel. Be very aware that there are many people that will come into your life when you're going through a dark place. That I want to say bully but I don't want to be negative in it, because I don't think they mean to be negative, but they want you to appear strong. And they say things sometimes without knowing that puts pressure on you to be strong or to be healed when you're not there. And that extra burden on you keeps you locked into pretending for their sake. So you're pretending you're not getting the help you need. You're pretending, and they feel comfortable. Really, they're looking for their comfort, because a lot of people are not comfortable around discomfort, around pain. Everybody they want a life of fulfillment. They want a life of everything is pleasant. We see it on social media. Who really talks about who really shows their tears? What they show are smiles, places they have gone to, perfection. Because we idealize that. So sometimes when they come to comfort you or they come into your life, they'll say things, especially like in the church situations. Okay, I'm not putting down the church, but it's just the fact. Oh, you're just like, your life is a testimony. They say, oh, you're so strong. I was so challenged. I was so inspired by your life. So what it can cause is you trying to maintain that strength for them. But that's not fair to you. When you're going through a dark space, at that time, it's about you. It's about your healing. If you're sick and you're going to the doctor, at that time that you're sick, it's about getting you healthy. It's about your prescription, your drugs, the care that you need. It's not about somebody coming to tell you, get well, get well, get well. It's about you. So be kind to yourself. Know that this grief journey or this whatever place you're in that is dark that you're trying to get out of, it's about you healing, not how they feel. So don't let anyone bully you into being what you don't feel. If you're not strong, you're not strong. And that way you get the help that you need. Okay? So be kind to yourself. Another thing is let people help you. We grew up in a culture where you are praised for being strong. And if you're maybe too weak, you're an L, you're a loser, it's not as praised. And so we're trained to pull up our bootstraps, and we are not good receivers. And when you're going through whether it's grief or anything that is you're in a broken state, you have to let people help you. People that mean well. If they invite you out, They want to come and love on you, allow them to love on you. You're not supposed to do life alone. So think about it. If you're a soldier going to war, how will it feel if you tell yourself, even though I'm wounded in the battlefield, another soldier can't lift me on his shoulder and take me to safety? I gotta crawl out of it. The bullets are spraying everywhere, but you gotta crawl out by yourself because you have to be strong. No, that's when your community lifts you. So allow people to lift you because that's what they're there for. But also be careful of the people that are in your life. We all have job friends. Some don't intend to, but some will say things that are jarring. So and that's where it comes back to your intention about where you're going. Okay? You have people that will come into your life. I had with my spouse that I had someone say, well, maybe if I had prayed, if I had gotten the dream I had before the day he passed, if I had prayed, he wouldn't have died. What does that do to somebody that is grieving? It's your fault. It's your fault. It's what they might be implying. So you have to be careful too about who you're listening to. The people that are trying to help you come through, that are gentle on you, and the people that you invite into your life. So I don't want to go too far in this video. I hope that some of the things I'm saying help. Okay? You're going to come through to the other side if you're going through something. Okay? If you put the right... Oh, I want to say this. Before you have pain, try and get healthy. And what I mean is, before you have, for example, cholesterol, high blood pressure, before you get there, eat healthy, work out, keep your stress level low, take your medication. It's better they say prevention is better than cure. You don't know when life will bring pain and emotional unrest to you. You don't know. We live in a world that there is good and bad. There is pain and joy. They are the opposites all the time operating. We don't know the season that your joy will leave and something will come. There are seasons for everything under the sun. It's in the book of Ecclesiastes. You will have your moments of pain. Before the pain comes, prep for it. Prep by becoming the best you, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Get with God through Christ, because he will teach you, he will fortify you a lot, so that when that pain comes and you're falling, he's grabbing you. His words, get yourself healthy. Don't feed your soul with negative. Don't feed your soul with things. Don't be too cracked, so that when you have pain, it meets you with a strong foundation. The Bible says when you're building a house, think of two people build a house. One built it on a foundation that when the storm came, it fell. Another built a house, so it was built on sand. Another person built a house, it was on concrete. When the waves and the wind came, it stood. So before the pain comes, I will encourage you, all of us, to become the best we can be. It's a life journey to get to be the best you can be. But the way that you wake up in the morning and you put an effort into knowing your career and learning a business and becoming a good mother and becoming giving out and out and out and out to everybody. Take time and put in and in and in and in for you. Because you don't know when that strength will be needed. You don't know when the fall will come. You don't want it to destroy you if you're not ready, if you're not prepared. So fortify yourself. That's the thing I can say before all this, the process, because you have to walk through the process. So I'll continue to talk about different things I think about with grief, the way I walk through it to where I am now. And I hope that you like, subscribe, join the channel. I try to share as much as I can and be authentic as I can. And if anything else you also want me to talk about, please leave it in the comment section. But if you're going through something, know that you're not alone. There are people that love you, people that care about you. The world is still a beautiful place. The world still offers, you have a lot to offer people. You do. Don't be helpless. Don't feel like you're nothing. There's still a plan for you. And we're all here for it. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.